Hi everyone, from Japan. I'm sitting in our church in Shinurayasu, and I've been in Shinurayasu now for about 3 months. It's been a very interesting 3 months because, of course, when I arrived we had nowhere to meet as a church, and now we have a place to meet and we have various things happening. But it's been really a 3 months of trying to get to know people because we didn't have a huge number of Christian people, and most of the time has been spending time getting to know people, and that's been hard and it's been often discouraging for me. I'm finding that people don't easily talk to you. I think sometimes people are afraid of foreigners. They think that they have to speak to you in English, and they don't want to, or they can't, and so they just sort of avoid you altogether. And I've found actually in the last couple of weeks I'm meeting people now who say to me, oh yeah, I've seen you around for the last 3 months, but it's only in the last couple of weeks that actually they've bothered to talk to me. So trying to actually meet people has been a big thing. As of next week, I'm going to be starting to walk someone else's dog, because I've noticed that people who have dogs talk to other people who have dogs, and I don't have a dog. So I've managed to actually borrow someone's dog in the morning when I go for a walk, and hopefully I'll meet a lot of other people as I speak to them. But so we've been trying to set up things too to get to know people. We set up something called Safe Harbour, and Safe Harbour is basically a monthly cooking group, and women, about 25 to 30 women come. Most of them are all not Christians, and it was set up actually not as by our church. It was actually set up by two or three of the women from our church, and then 3 non-Christian women also, and basically as a place to get to know people. And that's what we do. It's in the local community centre, so we can't actually do any outreach, and it's a cooking class, and so someone comes and cooks and we all cook, and then we eat, and then we talk basically. So it's really suited for women, and at the end of that, because everyone's involved in different things, we can all sort of advertise what we're involved in, and through that we've been able to advertise things that our church is putting on. So at Easter time, about a month after I got back, we were able to advertise an Easter children's outreach event, and a lot of children of the women who came to our Easter. We had 30 children, which was quite amazing. I thought we'd have about 10. I would have been thrilled if we had 10, and we actually had 30. And some of those have started to come to Sunday school, which is also very, very exciting. And out of that, actually, we're just about to start a Bible study for non-Christian women next week. And 2 of the mothers, and 2 of the women in that, one of them, her son came to the Easter thing, and then started coming to Sunday school, and he was asking her about the resurrection. What's the resurrection all about? Of course, she had no idea. So she actually said, could she join the Bible study, because she wanted to know what her son was learning. And so it's very interesting. Some of the women, for example, I meet at Safe Harbour, their children have come to Sunday school, and they tell me, when their children come home from Sunday school, they tell them what they've done. They sang these songs, they played this game, they heard this story, and they look at me as if to say, and what is that all about? So there's lots of sort of curiosity, but people are also wary. Religion is not something that people openly get involved in, even though for some reason they're happy for their children to come along to something religious. So we're really encouraged in a lot of ways, but I think it's still a long way to go, and the hardest part is probably just getting to know people in the community. So I'm trying to be creative in that with some success. I've joined a tennis class, and I've never played tennis in my life before. So that's not a lot of fun, because it's not a lot of fun when you start to play. Well, I'm trying to play tennis, and it hasn't really worked out what I thought it would be, but it's still okay. So trying to do things. So pray for that, because it can be very lonely these first few months. It can be very lonely when you don't really have friends, and when people sort of see you around because you're the foreigner but nobody bothers to talk to you. So it can be a very lonely time. So pray that I don't get overwhelmed by that, and continue to persevere to meet people. Hopefully walking the dog will help. Hopefully other things will help. And pray for our new Bible study that's starting. These women have never ever, really studied the Bible, and so everything is new, which is quite exciting. And we're expecting that God to work. We've also started a mums and kids group, and so there are about 5 mums and their children who come along, and none of them have ever been to church, ever studied the Bible, and none of them are really interested in studying the Bible, but as part of our mums and kids group, we always have a Bible story, which we say is for the children, but hey, let's face it, it's really for the mothers. And so we're reading actually the Big Picture Story Bible, I think that's what it's called, which I'm translating chapter by chapter into Japanese, and so we're reading through that and sort of doing some activities with that as well. So the children like it, and the parents sort of sit there very puzzled, but they still come along, so we're encouraged by that as well.
Right.
So there's lots of opportunities, and we pray that God will work in their hearts, and really we're praying that through this, women would be interested in studying the Bible. That's what we hope to do with a lot of these outreach activities. And really, for Japan, the last thing that people will do is come to church. So the most that we meet every Sunday, we have Sunday school every Sunday, but mostly it's Christians at the moment. But we're thankful we have a place to meet. It's on the ground floor of a apartment building, which is in the same complex as where I am. So it's about 2 minutes to go to church for me, and it's easy to explain because, you know, I live in the same complex, and that's the building that our church is in. But we can't really advertise because, you know, it's not supposed to be a church. But people are getting to know, and of course they can hear us because they can hear the singing and the noise on Sunday mornings. So, but being Japanese people usually won't come and talk to you and ask you what's happening. So, but we hope in time that more people will be willing to come to church. But it is very early days. But I'm really thankful for your support in so many ways, and I know that it's been support over many years too, and I'm thankful for that. And can I encourage you to continue to do that, because I'm very aware that as I've been here for 3 months, you have prayed for 3 months as well, that God would provide the things that are needed, and I trust that God does provide the things that are needed. And so can I continue encourage you to trust, to be generous as you give, and to pray, continue to pray that God will continue to do that. And especially I'm thankful for the relationship that I have with CMS over these 20 years, that CMS is very supportive of this, even though the results are slow. This is a town of 40,000 people, and us, maybe 7 Christians, are the only ones that we know of at the moment. And so the reality is very stark, that everywhere I go, I can probably guess that, you know, in this whole town, this whole complex that I live in, there's 15 buildings, at least 10 floors, at least 4 families a floor. I'm probably the only Christian in this whole complex that I know of at the moment. So that's the reality, and CMS is very generously, and I think wisely, said that yes, we believe that God has led you there, and I believe that we're in this in partnership together. So can I encourage you to commit to giving to CMS, to becoming a member of CMS, because they really are keen for the gospel to go into the world, and this is part of the world that desperately needs the gospel. So thank you. I can't see you, unfortunately. I can only see Ben, which is not bad, but it's not quite as nice as seeing everybody else as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how God works here, and I really appreciate your prayers and support. Thanks.